Hi, welcome to Coaster Mania. I'm Micah, and today I'm going to be ranking the rides at Kings Island. If you've seen our review on this park, you already know that this is currently our favorite park of all time. This is a park with a ton of history, and I'm assuming will continue to push forward for the next 50 years, which I'm sure will be just as great. Let's go ahead and get our jimmies rustled by my opinions on how the rides rank from worst to best. Number 14, Great Pumpkin Coaster. In the ongoing lottery as to whether or not we've ridden a Parks Kiddie Coaster, Kitty and I have not ridden this one. This E&F Myler Kiddie Coaster was opened in 1992 and has 199 feet of track and a max height of 8 feet. It's located in the Planet Snoopy area. Great Pumpkin Coaster is a stereotypical kiddie coaster. You go around a few times and then you're done. Not much to say about it, so let's move on. Number 13, Flying Ace Aerial Chase. Flying Ace Aerial Chase is a Vekoma Suspended Family Coaster, or SFC for short. Or like some weirdos like to call it, a Vekoma Hang and Bang. Gross. This coaster was opened in 2001 and is 1,122 feet long, 48 feet tall, and has a top speed of 26 miles per hour. This ride is a torture device for the whole family. The layout on Flying Ace consists of multiple helixes that go up, down, and around. All the while, your head gets slammed against the bulky over-the-shoulder restraints relentlessly until it's done. Number 12, Invertigo. If you're a glutton for punishment, then you'll love this ride. Invertigo is a Vekoma inverted boomerang that opened in 1999 and is 1,013 feet long, 131 feet tall, and has a max speed of 50 miles per hour. This is a typical boomerang layout, but inverted. In my opinion, this makes it worse. Much worse. Just like the last one, you'll spend most of your time on this ride slamming your head on the over-the-shoulder restraints. Number 11, Backlot Stunt Coaster. This Premier Rides LIM coaster is a clone of the same ride at Canada's Wonderland in Kings Dominion. This ride is interesting because I felt like my first ride on it in 2021 was alright. Katie was complaining about it being bad, but I didn't see it. So when we got the chance to rewrite it this year, I couldn't help but fully agree with her. The first helix right after the launch pushes you down into the awkward restraints, and especially if you aren't prepared. In fact, the lap bars on this coaster are very awkward. They jut out above your lap and almost make it hard to find a good place to rest your hands. This ride does have some halfway decent theming and effects, but the experience of it is rather uncomfortable. Number 10, Woodstock Express. Moving into the top 10, we have Woodstock Express. This coaster was built by Philadelphia Toboggan Coasters, or PTC, in 1972 with the park's opening. It is 1,350 feet long, 38 feet tall, and has a top speed of 35 miles per hour. This one is like a Sunday cruise. It's fun for the kids and provides more forces than most family coasters do. I like these clone layouts a bit more than some because of their elements. They're compact, and the first drop on these is steep enough to provide a tiny pop of airtime in the back seat. Number 9, Flight of Fear. Flight of Fear is the second Premier Rides clone in the park. There is one additional clone of this exact ride at Kings Dominion. There are also multiple clones of the layout of this coaster at a few other parks. It was opened in 1996, traverses 2,705 feet of track, and is 74 feet tall, and has a top speed of up to 54 miles per hour. This is a decently thrilling layout with 4 inversions that is greatly helped by the dark building it's in and the theming around the station. It's somewhat interesting because the level of theming in the queue area for this ride is on a level that exceeds much of the rest of the park. Once you're on the ride, there isn't much theming beyond the station other than a few colored lights inside the main ride building. It would have been nice to at least see some of the fake star spots that are present on rides like Space Mountain at Disneyland. However, I understand that doing something like this is a lot easier said than done. The experience on this ride is somewhat rough and rattly, and I'm not sure if it's because of the track or the trains, but it did cause us a bit of discomfort throughout the ride. Number 8, Racer. Racer is a pair of racing wooden coasters that were opened with the park in 1972, each featuring 3,415 feet of track, a max height of 88 feet, and each with a top speed of up to 53 miles per hour. These rides were designed by the famous John C. Allen, known for designing many of the most popular coasters at the time. These racing coasters are both in an out and back layout, featuring airtime throughout their courses. Recently, the first half of the blue side was retracked by Gravity Group and remains the smoothest part of the experience for both coasters. I would be very grateful to see Kings Island have Gravity Group come back in and finish retracking both rides, because there is quite a bit of jackhammering present on the rest of the existing track. The reason I'm ranking this over Flight of Fear is the overall experience. Despite the roughness, Racer is helped with the racing aspect, adding a bit of camaraderie to the experience with guests in the adjacent train. This, combined with the airtime, provides a bit more enjoyable of an experience for both Katie and I, leading us to enjoy this more than we did Flight of Fear. Number 7. Adventure Express. This Aero mine train was opened in 1991 and features 2,963 feet of track, is 63 feet tall, and has a top speed of up to 35 miles per hour. What can I say, this coaster is full of charm. It features some mild adventure theming, mostly present on the ride's final lift hill with the Aztec-style animatronics. There is Aero jank written all over this ride. From the transitions to the turns to the hills, this coaster will toss you around in the train. Although a bit painful, thankfully if you are riding with someone, they can act as a good cushion for you, and you to them as you get knocked around in the seats. Of all the Aero mine trains out there, this is one of my favorites. I also love drumming along with the statues at the end, as it doesn't look like they're really doing anything other than slowly swinging their arms up and down. Number 6. The Bat. The Bat is my favorite Aero suspended coaster, hands down. This coaster is one of the reasons why I love this coaster type. It was originally opened at the park in 1993 as Top Gun to promote the movie. It has 2,352 feet of track, is 78 feet tall, and has a top speed of up to 51 miles per hour. I'm honestly surprised this exists at the park considering the fate of the original Bat. Each of this coaster's sweeping turns provides for strong positive Gs, planting you into your seat as the car swings up. It's a somewhat unique sensation that I hope we can see more of in the future with a design by a different company. It's always surprising to me how quickly this ride is over. It flies through its layout and leaves me wanting more. Number 5. Banshee. Banshee is the only major multi-looper left at the park. It was opened in 2014 and was designed and built by B&M and is an inverted coaster model. It is 4,124 feet long, 167 feet tall, and has a top speed of up to 68 miles per hour. Through its course, you'll experience 7 inversions, each doing a very different thing. The first 2 provide some of the ride's strongest positive forces, where the third gives you the feeling of weightlessness. After the 0G roll, you'll experience a pretzel loop. This is very similar to a batwing, except the entry and exit points cross over each other. This element also packs in a ton of positive Gs. From there, you'll go into a vertical loop, getting even more positive Gs, and maybe even some mild negative Gs at the top. After this, you'll move into the final inversion, a barrel roll. This is my favorite inversion on the ride because of how slow you traverse through it. This inversion provides strong hang time while you're upside down and almost feels like the JoJo roll on Copperhead Strike at Carowinds. This is a relatively typical B&M invert, but shows the change in design language that B&M has gone through over the years. A lot of their coasters were intense and whippy with quick transitions, but it feels like their new rides are a bit more forgiving in this aspect. I would love to see more modern inverts installed elsewhere to experience this new design philosophy. Number 4. Mystic Timbers. Mystic Timbers is a GCI wooden coaster that was opened in 2017 and features 3,265 feet of track, has a max height of 109 feet, and a top speed of up to 53 miles per hour. This ride is all about speed and airtime. Throughout its course, it doesn't ever go back up very high. It stays low and provides quick but also strong pops of ejector airtime as it bounces over its airtime hills and quick slalom-like transitions. This coaster is smooth and fast and is arguably an elite coaster. My only complaint about it is, well, actually, one of my complaints about it is how quickly it's over. The other major complaint I have is the shed. During the marketing of this ride, one of the things that Kings Island hyped up was the shed. Many coaster enthusiasts were speculating hard on what this could be. There are many guesses thrown around like a drop track, which would be a unique and thrilling addition to see on a wooden coaster. This, however, was not the case, and what we got was quite underwhelming. On a final brake run of the ride, you go through a shed with some kind of creepy theming and loud droning sound surrounding you. Eventually, you move into the darker shed area where a radio starts playing with a randomly selected song. From there, you push forward, and as you go around the final turn, a projector screen in front of you plays a clip of a monster coming out and attacking you. This animation is varied and sometimes shows different monsters. Sometimes it'll be a bat, sometimes a beast, other times a snake, and finally a tree. This effect isn't very convincing and doesn't really add much to the ride experience, but I guess it is a bit better than a boring final brake run. Number 3. Diamondback. Diamondback is the park's floater machine. This B&M Hyper was opened in 2009 and has 5,282 feet of track, is 230 feet tall, has a drop of 215 feet, and a top speed of up to 80 miles per hour. This is a very typical B&M Hyper. Each airtime hill is perfectly shaped to give a long, healthy dose of floater airtime through the entire top of the hill. It's a strong ride, but the two helixes do feel a bit weak in my opinion. The ride features a final splashdown, which, if you're sitting in the wing seats of the last car, will get you wet. This ride has been displaying some signs of a rattle, but this only seems present on one of the trains and not all of them. There's not much else I can really say about it though, so let's move on. Number 2, the Beast. This is a legendary coaster. Still holding on to the record for the world's longest wooden coaster, this ride is amazing. This coaster was designed in-house by Kings Island maintenance team. It was built in 1979, features a whopping 7,361 feet of track, has a max height of 110 feet, a top speed of up to 64 miles per hour, and a tallest drop of 141 feet. This coaster was originally designed by Charles Dinn, who went on to form the Dinn Corporation, which would build many other wooden coasters over the years to come. When it comes to forces and overall coaster design, this one doesn't follow the conventions that many other coasters do. Rather, it features long sections of straight track, long drawn-out turns, and atypical banking during certain sections of the ride. Part of what makes this coaster so amazing is the speed. When you're on this coaster, there is nothing else like flying through the forest at 60 miles per hour. For the 50th anniversary of Kings Island, Gravity Group came in and retracked and reprofiled some of this coaster, and the changes are very welcome. This coaster is now fairly smooth and was made even better. One of the things that makes this coaster so amazing is the night rides. The forest around you is pitch black, and the feeling we got from flying through it was indescribable. This ride was also made even more magical by the fact that when we were on it, there were hundreds, maybe even thousands of fireflies lighting up on all sides of the track. This is an unforgettable experience that I hope many more people can get the chance to have. Seriously, ride this thing at night, and even during the day, you won't regret it. Number 1, Orion. Orion is the newest coaster at Kings Island, opening in 2020. This coaster is a B&M hypermodel that is 5,321 feet long, 287 feet tall, has a 300-foot tall drop, and a top speed of up to 91 miles per hour. It is officially considered a B&M hypermodel, as the company doesn't distinguish between hyper and giga when it comes to ride model classification. For all intents and purposes, however, this coaster is a giga coaster like Fury 325. Now, I know that not everyone is going to agree with this, but let me explain my reasoning. Classifications like Hyper or Giga or Strata are marketing terms that were designed by Cedar Fair to cater towards their more thrill-seeking audience. They deem that these designations apply whenever the height or tallest drop is taller than a certain benchmark goal. So with this, a hypercoaster is any roller coaster that is 200 feet tall or more, or that has a drop of 200 feet or more. This same thing goes for gigas, meaning that any coaster 300 feet tall or more, or with a drop of 300 feet or more, is considered a giga coaster. Let's be honest, this naming scheme is completely arbitrary and doesn't make a ride good or bad. In my opinion, it's what you do with the layout that makes a ride good. With this in mind, Orion is my favorite coaster in the park. The feeling of going 91 miles per hour is incredible. There are strong doses of airtime and positive G's throughout this ride's layout. Also, Kings Island, Cedar Fair, can we please get an official release of the soundtrack of this ride? I'm begging you, I just want to listen to it on repeat. Please. Kings Island is a special park that has a lot of legendary rides. It is honestly hard to compare other theme parks to the experience Katie and I had here. If you want to know my full thoughts on this park, be sure to check out my review where I go more in depth. This park has a very well-rounded coaster collection, but definitely does have some holes. One of the best things this park offers is its night rides. While the best is the Beast, each ride provides a different experience and can't really be compared to anything at other parks elsewhere. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, feel free to leave a like and comment below and consider subscribing. I intend on uploading more content as time goes on, and as Katie and I experience more parks and coasters. You can also find daily uploads on our Instagram page at Coaster Mania. Soon we'll be opening an Etsy page where you'll be able to buy prints and more of some of your favorite coaster photography of ours. Thanks for watching the video, and ride on, Coaster Maniacs!